What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I got another deck breakdown and some gameplay for you today. So as always, I'm going to dive right into the deck, kind of talk about the strategy of the deck, concept of the deck, what cards you're supposed to be doing in which situations, and try to help you learn how to play the deck the best you can before I jump into some gameplay. So this is called Guardians of the Magneto. I am essentially trying to utilize the Guardian package of Star-Lord, Gamora, Groot, Rocket, etc., which is predicting where the opponents are going to play cards by shutting down some locations and filling up some locations. So that's the premise of the deck. And something else that you need to know is I just have entered Pool 3 for card collection. So I have about maybe 5 or 6 Pool 3 cards. So I'm going to start making some Pool 3 based videos on this channel. If you're not in Pool 3 yet, that's fine. I'll still be making some just straight Pool 2 and Pool 1 card deck videos as well. But this is utilizing 2 Pool 3 cards in Magneto and Polaris. So I'll just start with the 1-drops. This channel would not be anything without me saying Iceman and Scorpion are going in my deck. So I love the combo of a 1-drop Iceman, who on reveal gives a random card in the opponent's hand +1 cost, and Scorpion, who's a 2-drop with 2 power, on reveal afflict cards in the opponent's hand with -1 power. Until I lock more consistent 1-drops or anything else that just seems like it fits into certain packages, I'm probably going to be rocking a lot of Iceman and Scorpion. I think they're just both really solid on-curve cards that will give you a lot of value. Obviously, I do have the Rocket Raccoon in here for the Guardians package. So on reveal, if your opponent played a card here, +2 power. So you'll see that theme throughout this deck of essentially trying to predict where the opponent is going to be playing cards. So it does take a little bit of a mental battle each game trying to predict that. Up next, we have Star-Lord. So on reveal, if your opponent played a card here, +3 power. So that's a 2 cost for 5 power total if you can get that off. And up next, you have the first card that tries to help us utilize that. So Storm, on reveal, floods this location, and the next turn is the last turn cards can be played here. So there's a few really cool things about Storm with the Guardians. So I've made a deck before with Storm and a few other cards, and I've included those cards here. And Storm, Jessica Jones, and Warpath are really good on curve. So you play Storm, and then you play either Jessica Jones after on turn 4, which she'll be an 8 power. If you don't play a card here, she gets +4 power, so she'll go up to an 8. Or you play Storm into Warpath, and then make sure you leave one location empty, because when you have an empty location, Warpath gains +4 power. Now, doing that makes you be able to lock down a location pretty early. But the cool thing about that is when you lock down one location on turn 3, you can predict that they're probably going to play a card right there next turn, if they have a contesting power level there. They might just say, okay, I'm going to lose that location, and that depends on the game state. So if you have a couple units there already, they have none, they might just say, all right, screw it, I'm not going to play anything there. That gives you good information that they're going to play at the other 2. Or if you play Storm and it's a close battle and you don't have Warpath or Jessica Jones, you could easily drop some of the Guardians of the Galaxy like Groot, who's a 3 cost, 3 power. If your opponent played a card here on reveal, he gets +3 power. So you could predict that way, but also just shutting down a location and then getting the plus power at the other locations with the Guardians, because now they are not able to play there, is also a really good way to try to get the Guardians online. So essentially just shutting one location out. Now the other kind of idea with this deck is twofold. So one is to fill locations so they have even less locations, fill opponent locations so they have less locations where they could play, so you can play your Guardians and get your additional bonus. So you can do so with Polaris, who is a 3-drop, 5 power, so really good stats. On reveal, move an opposing 1 or 2 cost card to this location. So this is a Pool 3 card, and it's very interesting. So it has a lot of really good uses. So you can do this on like a flooded zone on yourself. So you could pull one of their cards into the zone if they're kind of giving it up, because then it wastes a unit. You could pull this to a location that already has 3 units, so it kind of fills the last spot or fills another spot, so they have less room to try to wiggle out of that. Or you could just play this on a location that your opponent already has full, and then you spent 3 mana for 5 power, 3 energy for 5 power. So that's great too. Very, very weird situations will come up where Polaris is even more useful than any of those, and that is kind of location dependent. Especially there's a location, I think it's like Fisk's Tower, that's Kingpin's Tower, I believe. If you a unit moves there, it dies. So you can do that. You can put Polaris there, drag some opponent units into that location and kill them. There's a lot of cool things that Polaris can do. Gamora rounds out the rest of the Guardians package. I don't have Drax yet, and I'm not using Mantis. I don't find her needed for this deck. I don't have Drax, so the Gamora is the last one. She is a 5/7 power on reveal if your opponent played a card here, plus 5 power. So you can get 12 power for 5 energy, which is massive value. That doesn't happen a whole lot. That's like the Hulk, essentially, but for 1 cheaper. So if you have a location flooded, then you have a 50-50 chance, and you can normally read what they're going to do pretty easily at that point. So she's really good for this. I have Chavez in here just to kind of be able to hit the other cards a little more efficiently. Chavez could definitely be a couple different units. If you had Green Goblin, I'd probably put Green Goblin in this deck because he pairs really funny with Magneto. So if you do have that, I'd maybe suggest trying that out. And then let's get to Magneto. So the last card is Magneto. He's a 6-drop, 12 power, another pull 3 card. On reveal, move all opposing 3 and 4 cost cards to this location. So Green Goblin's cool because he is a 3 cost card who will be on the opponent's side of the board, so you can manipulate things like that. But again, this is really, really good turn 6 for doing a few different things. Either just playing it on a full location, so he counts as like a Hulk. That's like the base. Okay, I'm going to play him on a full location. He's going to get, 12 power. That's great. But you can really pull units away from other locations that you're losing and just kind of sacrifice Magneto. So say there's an empty location and you're going to pull like 4 units, like 2 3s and 2 4s all the way over to Magneto. Well, that would be great because now you can try to win the other 2 locations. So he's got some crazy abilities that way. And another one is just pulling 1 or 2 units off, still winning the location that Magneto is getting played at, but boosting up the other locations. So he's got a crazy play pattern. And I think it's one of my favorites so far in Snap. Overall, this deck does take a decent amount of practice, so if you're going to pick it up, don't just expect to automatically start winning games. It is pretty convoluted, honestly. I think it's one of the more challenging decks I've made here, but it's so fun. I mean, the play patterns are a blast. It's all about predicting your opponent's moves, shutting out your opponent, and then just manipulating their board. It is an incredibly fun deck. I'm going to jump into some gameplay. If you want to hang around and stick around for that, that'll be coming up right now. If not, I appreciate you guys viewing. The videos have been blowing up way more than most, so I really appreciate that. Make a comment below if you want to see like a Pool 1 Guardian deck. Leave a like, leave a subscription, and let's jump into some gameplay. All right, let's see what we get. Got X Mansion, and we got a rough-looking hand with pretty high costed cards. So hopefully we draw something we can play next turn. But we do have some of our really good combo pieces that we like. He misses his 1-drop as well, so that's fine. Alright, so he has Necrotia in the middle. I'm going to play Rocket. This is kind of a random prediction. Kind of tough. He's probably going to play something at X Mansion or on this location. So I'm going to go there. Alright, he played nothing, so that's fine. Alright, so now what I want to do, this is going to turn into a new location. I am going to try to, I don't think he's going to play anything at Necrotia, so I'm just going to try to flood that in anticipation that I can try to win this next turn. So it'll ruin that location. He's got Cyclops out on the right. X-Mansion's kind of a wild card, see what we get. You got Khazar for my Rocket, so not great, but that's alright. So it's the last turn he can play cards here. So I'm going to play Star-Lord there, and I'm going to play Scorpion over here. So he played 2 cards. He's got Patriot out and Squirrel Girl. So he's got the cards with no abilities gain extra power shenanigans going on. So this location is flooded, but Bar Sinister can still get things out to that location. We're going to drop a Gamora, and hopefully he's playing something on Sinister London. I always call that Bar Sinister by accident. It's Sinistered. He's got another Khazar, which is another Khazar, but we're getting a 12 attack Gamora at 2 different locations. So we feel pretty good about that, and that's one of the great things about the prediction there that you can do. Alright, so now what I can do is I can play Magneto somewhere pretty interesting. And I can pull things to the side. So he would pull 3 and 4 cost things. Now, I'm not sure exactly what he prioritizes. I think it's just random. But he was going to pull things to a particular location. I just want to win the right 2 locations. But I want to put Magneto here because he's going to spawn another one somewhere else. And it could be really shenanigans based and things are going to get pulled all over the place. Let's see what happens. So Magneto's going on the right. Gets pushed there. And then it pulls Cyclops to the middle, which is pretty great. He plays Onslaught, which doubles this Khazar and then doubles that Khazar. But because we filled that middle location, you can't double Patriot, and we clearly win both of the right locations, which is crazy. So that game went pretty well. We used Storm into Star-Lord to predict, because we know he's going to play something on the flooded location. Star-Lord got the bonus power. Then turn 5 was pretty easy to predict that he's going to play something on Sinister London, so we get the bonus from Gamora, and then Magneto doing some pull shenanigans. That kind of shows off the premise of the deck, but we got to play a couple more games. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. We have the Central Park, Rocket Raccoon, Scorpion, Jessica Jones, and Magneto. So we'll just play Rocket on the left. Again, I don't want to really holster these cards, just kind of take a shot, and if we get lucky, we get lucky. In this case, we did. And we get a 4-power Rocket for 1 energy, which is pretty great. Iceman hit Scorpion, which is not great, because that means I don't have a 2-drop right now. So we're going to have to pass on turn 2. It's going to be a game 7, so Magneto is not the last card coming out of my hand this game, most likely. Got to be careful, since there is a game 7. Anytime you get Limbo in Central Park, it's a little awkward, because there's a turn 7, and there's squirrels everywhere, so you want to be careful not filling up your locations too much. He's got the lizard. Alright, Icebox. Scorpion just does not want to get played this game. That's alright. Let's see, where do we think he's going to go? Well, I think he's going to go to the Central Park again. So this is, again, just a crapshoot on turn 3. I could have played Polaris, but didn't have to. Alright, so he's playing Storm Middle. So we'll try some funny things. So I think I want to try to fight for this middle location. So I'm going to put Jessica Jones here, and we're going to see if we can fight for this middle location. A couple ways to do it. So we can actually pull Storm off of the location with Magneto on turn 6, which is really funny. And if we get lucky, we could pull off Lizard or the Squirrel at least, then try to win this flooded location. So he's thinking he's going to win it, and that's what I was hoping. He was confident enough that he's going to win it that I actually just played Jessica Jones there. She's going to get +4. She's actually already going to be winning that herself, which is pretty cool. Alright, let's see what we got. So we've got a 3 and a 4 for Scorpion. Warpath is only just going to be a 5 this game, which isn't going to do a whole lot. I'm going to play Polaris on this right location. He's going to want to boost Angela up. If he doesn't play 2 cards here, she'll pull somebody to this location, and that will stop Angela from getting boosted by at least 1 time. Alright, so he hobgoblined me, which is pretty good. That kind of locks that location down, so I really need to win these other 2. I think that was a big turn right there, being able to pull Lizard over here, so now he only can boost Angela up by 1. I think I can really win this right location, unless he has some crazy shenanigans to push things into the flooded location. I kind of outplayed his Storm here as well. I can also just play enough units to give Lizard his debuff, so we're feeling good. Hobgoblin was a good play because it secures this location for him, but he kind of left this flooded location wide open, and I took advantage of it. And ideally, I can just finish out and take advantage of this right location as well. So luckily, Shang-Chi goes off first, which does not kill Magneto, because that would have been a huge move. And that's going to be it right there. So we were able to hold this flooded location that he tried to play around. He won this one, but then we were able to stop this completely. So even if he played another unit there, the cool thing about Polaris is she did hit Lizard, which was the best option, but she could have hit the Squirrel or Lizard to pull power away from that. And then if he didn't fill up this location, Magneto would have hit Storm to pull even more power away from that. So that's kind of what we want to do when we flood locations with Storm. But when they do it, that's fine too. We can also utilize both these cards to manipulate their board. And it shuts down cards like Angela. It can shut down cards that are destroying certain things. It's got a lot of interesting perks. It's a really fun deck to play around with. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, leave a subscription, comment down below what you guys want to see next on the channel. Keep on snapping.